Hey everybody, Wayne here. In today's Let's Play, we're going to play the narrative-driven solitaire wargame Target for Today, designed by Steve Dixon and published by Legion Wargames. In my mission today, we're going to fly a B-17 bomber to the target, all while avoiding German fighters and flak, drop our bombs, and then turn around and try to make it home safe. Let's go down to the table where I'll do a quick overview how the game works, and then we'll go into the playthrough. All right, let's do a quick overview of kind of the game and kind of what you see here that I have all set up for the board. And then we'll dive right into the playthrough. So in Target for Today, you are going to create a bomber. You're going to pick a type of bomber. You're going to pick the crew. You're going to name them. You're going to collect their stats, and you're going to go on bombing missions. Generally speaking, there's the game has a chart book. You're going to run through charts. It's going to tell you, hey, this is what target you're going to go after. This is what your goal is. You're going to fly then through zones. You're going to possibly encounter bad weather, possibly encounter German fighter resistance. You may have escorts, you may not. Eventually get to the target zone. You're going to try to drop bombs, and you're going to turn around and try to make it home for a safe landing. I have chosen the B-17 here. You can see the crew placement sheet. I have the icons, tokens for all the crew out in their different compartments and areas. I have already rolled to determine where I will be in the bomber group. So you can see over here, bomb group combat box formation. So you can see there are low cells, middle cells, high cells, and then within each of those cells are going to be different bombers. So looking between the overhead top view and the front view and the left view kind of gives you an idea of how they flew during World War II, how the bomber groups flew. I happen to roll a high cell number 10 bomber. So you can see, for instance, on the left side view, the high cell is up here, and it's going to be number 10 right there. Depending on where you are, there may or may not be extra fighters that come after you. If you are, say, a tail end, or if you are a cell leader, depending on your position. For us, we're on the high cell, but we're kind of in the middle, so we'll have no negatives or bonuses in regards to enemy fighters coming after us. The same thing, I've already predetermined the mission, and we'll go ahead and look at that in a second. But looking at the battle board down here, this is where the action will take place. So this is where, and I have all of the chits out for the different guns that are on the B-17, which it was the Flying Fortress. I mean, look at all these are different guns that are all over the ship, all over the plane that we can shoot. So if I kind of take them off, you get a little bit of a view of the plane here of the B-17. And you can see this beautiful drawing here. Has, and you place that depending on what fighter, or excuse me, what bomber you pick. You place it on the battle board here, and when you look at it, you can kind of see some little gun emplacement sticking out, whether it's top turret. Obviously, you can't see the ball turret from the overhead view, but really nice view of your B-17 here. Also, you can see these different locations based on the clock position, 12 o'clock high, 12 o'clock low, 6 o'clock high, 9 o'clock level, etc. Those are where those German fighters are going to be appearing. They're going to be coming after you, waves of them. They're going to have, passes. They're going to keep coming back, shooting you, unless you shoot them down or your escorts are able to drive them away before they can harm you. When I talked about the zones and traveling through the zones to get to the target, you can see this track here. It goes all the way up to zone 15. I have our B-17 counter here. And we're going to start in zone 1. That is where we're taking off. That's where our air base is. And we're going to go to zone 2, zone 3. And for this particular target, it's in zone 4. So zone 4 is where we will, and you can see we have a primary target counter. That is where we will be dropping our bombs. And then we'll turn around and we'll work our way back to the zone till we get to zone 1 and hopefully have a successful landing. The game I'm going to be playing, I'm going to be following the rules as written. I'm going to be using all the original components, other than, I think the only real change I have is I'm using this, and it's not even a change, I'm just using this sequence of play here on the map, on the board, so you guys can see it. So if you can see that close, if you're able to zoom in at all, you may be able to see the specific words. Otherwise, I'm just going to use this die here to keep track and just move it along, so we can see, and I can reminds me exactly where we are in the process, the very sequential game, right, where you are determining, hey, step by step, taking off, flying from zone to zone, fighting, dropping your bombs, turning around, and kind of repeating all that on the way back to your airbase. The German fighters, you guys will see these obviously in more in depth here, but basically take a quick look at them. Are these really nice big counters, Focke-Wulf 190, the ME 109. Again, they're going to be coming at you from different locations. You can be shooting at them. They may be shooting at us. and hopefully we don't take too much damage to our bomber or damage to our crew, because the bomber can be damaged, our crew can take wounds, a lot of bad stuff can happen to our bomber when we're flying as high as we are over the channel and then over the European mainland. We'll go ahead and look at our mission log sheet and zone sheets. All right, so we're going to keep track of our mission with this B-17F mission log sheet. Also with this, and this is one of the things that did not come in the base game. I just found this on Board Game Geek and printed this off. This is a zone worksheet. We'll cover this in a second. So mission log sheet, right? So we have our bomber is the Lucky Lady. We get to go ahead and name it. We are flying our very first mission. Bomber, it's a campaign of mission 1, Bomber Mission 1. I don't know if I'll actually do a true campaign. That's a lot of missions and a lot of work. At least let's just go ahead and cover this one mission, and then we'll see from there. I'm choosing a campaign. There are 6 campaigns. The campaigns sequentially basically cover from the very beginning of the bombing campaign, the daytime bombing campaign over Germany, and outlying countries, right? So France, Belgium, etc., all the way up till number 6 is towards the end of the war. We are campaign 3, so kind of in the middle. Campaign 3 would begin approximately 1243, so December of 1943. We are based out of Thorpe Abbotts, and our target city is going to be Antwerp, where we are targeting industry. So our mission today on 1243, the target for today, if you will, is going to be Antwerp and bombing industry. Now, continuing to look at the mission log sheet, you have the turrets and gun ammunition. So we will mark these off as we are shooting at the German fighters. Any notes, anything we want to note is, that happens to maybe our bomb or anything like that. And then at the bottom, we have our all-important crew. So I have pre-named our crew and filled them in. We have a bombardier, W. Charles, navigator, T. Davidson, pilot, Captain Adams, co-pilot, Commander Boyd, engineer, also operates a top turret, C. Edwards, our radio man, W. Hansen, good name there, ball turret, L. Ida, left waist is an M. Johnson, right waist, A. Franklin, and finally tail turret is D. Gumble. Actually, it's not tail turret, it should be tail gun on this particular bomber. So that is our crew, that is our bomber, the Lucky Lady. And as for the zone sheet, remember how I mentioned we'll be flying through different zones, right? Zone 1 is where you launch from, where you take off from. So really it's 2, 3, 4, and then turn around and come back. We're going to worry about, and we'll go into this in detail, but basically you're going to write the zone number, the zone modifier. Modifier basically is a modifier for friendly fighter coverage, and that'll be the fighter escort level, which we will roll for that. I will roll to determine all that in a second. The zone weather, each zone we enter will have a certain weather. Is it cloudy? Is it hazy? Is it clear? Etc. Do we have any mechanical failures? Any contrails with our bomber, which makes it easier for the enemy to track us down? Are we in, out of formation, or disorganized? Are we below 10,000 feet? The fighter resistance, what level of German resistance? Is it light, moderate, heavy, or is there none? Then the number of fighter waves that will be coming after us in each particular zone. Number of fighters that our escorts remove. Do we take evasive action? And then finally the flak, which comes into play over the target zone. So I think that's it. I think you guys have a good idea of just a little bit of the overall, how the game kind of operates, right, in a very general sense. We're going to dive in. We're going to do this playthrough. We're going to fly the Lucky Lady. We're going to fly to Antwerp. We're going to bomb some heavy industry or some industry in Zone 4. And we're going to see what happens along the way. Let the dice decide what happens. So let's go ahead and get everything all set up and do the full playthrough here. Let's go. All right, the only thing I did on the zone sheet here, I went ahead, I pre-filled in the zones. Remember, Antwerp is zone 4, so like I said, I didn't show you guys the chart, but that's okay. I'll have some of the stuff pop up. I'll have a lot of the charts pop up, not always, but sometimes during the game. Antwerp is, relatively close in Belgium, relatively close to England. It's not a target in Germany, so only have to go to zone 4. I mentioned that. So for each of the zones, right, you're going to have the zone number here, and then you're going to have that zone modifier I mentioned. What that means is very, very simple. So it'll say, first zone or zone 2, -2/W. Basically, it means there's a -2 to being encountered by German fighters, right? So lower is less chance. And then W means you're over water. Zone 3, you're finally over Belgium with a -1. 4, which is actually the target zone, is 0. And then you're there to bomb, and then you're there when you turn around and try to go to leave. 0, 0, also over Belgium, and then the -1 is you're returning, right? So you can see zones 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, and then 1 is the landing zone. So, and then I already rolled for fighter escort level. We're going to have good fighter escort. Considering where we are, it makes sense that we would have a really good fighter escort the whole way. Again, as a shorter bombing run. So, okay. Looking at our sequence of play over here, You can see that it has the pre-mission steps. There is an area for takeoff. There's an area for sequence of play, for non-target zones, which is just sort of the moving along the zones. There's a combat area, and then there's in the target zone and then ending the mission. So first off, pre-mission, create a bomber. We did that. We already did our B-17 here with our brave crew. Determine our campaign. We're going to do campaign 3. Remember, begins in December of 43. Target selection, we have rolled and determined we'll be targeting industry in Antwerp, Belgium. Formation position, already determined. Remember, high cell, position number 10. The gazetteer, that's going to be where we're going to be bombing. Determining the modifiers. Our fighter escort, we already determined that. We rolled good, so we're going to have good fighter coverage the whole way. And finally, we go to takeoff. So move over to takeoff procedure, weather over base, and here's where we're going to start rolling. And there's going to be a lot of dice rolling. It's part of the game. It's a narrative-driven solitaire game, right? So it's a lot of dice rolling as you're making some choices, but you're building a story, building this adventure going on, right? So, all right. So first off, we want to go ahead and roll for the weather. We are in the 8th Air Force in England, right? So we're part of the 8th Air Force, flying out of, what did I say we're flying out of? Thorpe Abbotts. So with England, and it is December, you check the modifiers, and it is going to be a -2 on the roll. So we roll a 1d10, a -2. That is a 5. A 5 gives us good weather over our takeoff area. So when we roll for our takeoff here, it's going to be a 1d10. We go ahead and, let's go ahead and give it a roll here. So 1d10 for the takeoff. And we had a 5, which a 5 is, is takeoff okay? The bomber is now airborne over its base in Zone 1 on strategic movement track. Continue the mission. So we are good right here. We are in Zone 1. We have taken off, no crashing. We go to the sequence of play. Boom. We go down here to move. So we go ahead and begin, and these are the sequence of play for your non-target zones, right? So we took off. We're in Zone 1. We're now going to the very beginning of the sequence of play for non-target zones is a move. So we're going to move, which means we're going to move from Zone 1 into Zone 2. We always are going to then roll for weather, check to see if the missions were called. In a mechanical failure, do we leave contrails? Are there going to be German fighters? If so, we fight them. If not, we continue moving until we get to the target. Seems like there's a lot of steps. It's really simple. You just follow the sequence of play, and a sheet like a little cheat sheet like this from Board Game Geek by Lou Carrera, by the way. Well done, Lou. It's very, very helpful. So, all right, here we go. Let's start in Zone 2. Zone 2, we're going to go ahead and roll for weather. Every turn, you're going to roll for the weather in every single zone. And depending on the weather previously, it may influence the weather. We had good weather, so for the Zone 2 outbound leg of mission, if the weather is good, which is a -1, which we want lower on this roll. So 1d10, lower is better, or relatively speaking. It kind of depends. Maybe you want clear over the target, but you want to be obscured on the way. That way there's less chance of fighters encountering you. Anyway, 8 minus 1 is 7. With a roll of 7, it is 50% cloud cover. So what I like to do, take your zone sheet here, zone weather, and I just write 50%. That tells me, hey, there's 50% cloud cover here. Now we check for mission recall. There would only be possible recalling of mission if we had 100% cloud cover. We don't roll at 50, so we get to go ahead and keep going. So we go to check for mechanical failure. Very low chance. Basically, we roll a 1d100, or in this case, you roll 2d10. And what you're doing is one die is the first number, the other die is the second number. If it's 10, then it's going to be 10, 10, it's going to be 100. So we're going to do the black die first, so the black and then the white die. Very low chance for a recall. Black is 81, white die, or excuse me, black 81, so that reads as an 81. Very simple. So the only chance for a recall with the B-17 is or a mechanical failure, would be a 1 to 3. So really low chance. 6 to 100 or 4 to 100 with the B-17. Mission continues, no problem. So, mechanical failure here on our little chart. Go ahead and circle no. And we move on to contrails. Are we going to leave any contrails here? We have, let me see if we have any modifiers. So the only modifiers would be, okay, no actual modifiers. We're just going to go ahead and roll a 1d10 to see if we leave any contrails. A 7, that is no contrails. So just like before, go ahead and contrails, no. And then we can go ahead and look and say, are we in formation? We're in. I like to fill these out quick. Are we below 10k feet? No. Now we're going to be at the fighter resistance. So here's where it can start getting real interesting. So we've survived. We're flying. Weather's pretty good, right? 50% cloud cover. No contrails. But now we're in the German resistance step. Now we'll determine, are there any German fighters going to be attacking us right away? Chance is low, but it definitely can and it will happen. So we're going to roll for our zone. Now, depending on the campaign, there's different amounts of you're going to encounter. So with campaign 3, 4, 5, it's not the strongest because the most would be, I guess, technically campaigns 1 and 2, but there's a decent chance we will. So looking at our chart here, we're going to roll on. It's going to be a 1d10. And then our modifiers are going to be, if we have cloud covered all, which we had the 50%, that's -1. And then if we have fighter escort of good, that's also a -1. So it adds up to -2 overall. We're not in disrupted, we're in formation, everything else is good, so it would be a total of -2. Lower is better, meaning less German fighters. Rolled a 9, so 9 minus 2 is 7, so that is actually moderate. Moderate German fighters. So here under fighter resistance level, I'll just go ahead and put moderate. All right, now we will go ahead and we will roll for how many waves there are. So we know that we're going to have moderate fighter resistance from the Germans. So we're going to roll a 1d10 again. With moderate, it adds a +1 to the roll. It's going to be a straight 1d10 roll. If we are on the middle position here, there would be a -1. If we were on the low position, there'd be a +1. Because we're on the high, there's no modifiers. So it's just going to be for the fact that and then if you're in a designated zone, it'd be a modifier. But for us, it's just moderate, so it'll be a +1. We're going to roll a 1d10 with a +1. All right, a 2 + 1 is 3. That will be 0 waves. So although fighter resistance level is moderate, we encounter 0 waves of fighters. Now, you could imagine that, hey, maybe there's fighters attacking our, massive bomber group, right? But we're only one little bomber out of all the massive hundreds up to, 1,000 bombers. At this early in the war, it only would have been probably 200-300, but still, out of 200-300 bombers, we just aren't attacked this zone. So for number of fighter waves, go ahead and put 0. And then number of fighters removed, that would be fighters removed by our escorts. Remember, we have good escort coverage. Go ahead and just put a little dash to that. Obviously, no evasive action and no need to worry about flak or anything like that. So, all right. So you can see we had the German waves. That's what we checked to see how many waves. Of 0 waves. So we go ahead, no waves. We go ahead and start over here at move on the sequence of play. So now we'll go ahead and move from zone 2 into zone 3. We are now only 1 zone away from our target of Antwerp. So we finished move, we check for weather. Just like before, we're going to roll a 1d10 to determine the weather. We're at 50% cloud cover, so that's going to give a +1 to the roll. So remember, higher has more inclement weather. Roll 8 + 1 because of the 50%, so it puts us at a 9. That is 100% cloud cover. It's okay now because it kind of prevents us from being targeted by German fighters, but it's kind of bad if you're over the target. So we definitely want to, hopefully anyway, the weather clears up as we get over the target, for the most part anyway. Okay. All right, so now we check for mission recall. We are in 100% cloud cover, so now is where we would roll for the mission recall. We're going to roll the 1d100 again, right, which is where black and white first, one number, right? So if it's 59, it's 59, it's 59. We'll be recalled on a 1 to 6. On a 7 to 100, the mission continues. All right, 53. So mission continues. No worries there. So we'll put, did I roll for, that was a mission recall. Oh, that's not on here. So we'll go do the mechanical failure now, and then the contrails. That's what we'll do. So we do the mechanical failure. Once again, 1d100, black first. Very low chance. Yep, no mechanical failure. Fairly reliable aircraft. Did have occasional issues. And then we'll check to see if we form any contrails. However, when you are in a area with 100%, a zone with 100% cloud cover, you don't roll for, I believe you don't roll for contrails because Yep, because it won't matter, because you can't, doesn't matter. Put no contrails, because contrails won't be able to be seen by the German fighters anyway. In formation, not below 100k feet. And now in zone, where are we at? Zone 3. Let's go ahead and check for German resistance. So again, campaign 3, we're going to roll that 1d10. And then we actually have 100% cloud cover is a -2. And then our fighter escort is good. So that's a total of -3. So -3. A 1 with a -3, -2. That is actually none. So 0 or less is none. So we have no German fighter resistance at all. We are lucky. Fighter waves, put dash because there's none. No fighters removed, no evasive action, no flak, and no worries. All right. Okay. So we go ahead and back, sequence of play. We go over to move to start over. And here we go. Zone 3, we enter zone 4. This is the primary target zone. It also was by the way, the modifier for the zone for that I don't believe I applied that at all for the fighters, but we didn't have to encounter them at all, so it didn't matter anyway. Okay, we're in zone 4. All right, being in the target zone, let's go ahead and check for weather. Remember, our previous weather was 100% cloud cover, so that's a +2, and it's a 1d10. So 1d10 plus 2, so 12. So there's 100% cloud cover again, unfortunately. So we can put 100%. All right. Now we have the sequence of play over here. We'll go down to moving to target zone. So we checked for target zone weather. And then this is why it has a nice little separate area on the sequence of play. So one of many reasons I really like this sequence of play chart here. Move over to target visibility. So that is kind of a separate roll we're going to do based on our target visibility, based on the weather, any other modifiers. So it is 100% cloud cover, so it's a +2 on a 1d6 roll. So 1d6 with a +2, 3, 4, 5. A 5 is target mostly obscured. There would be a -1 modifier on the flak and on the bombing run. So that's cumulative with any other modifiers. So target mostly obscured. And so what I like to do is take our, here, say, target mostly obscured. Yes, I have horrible handwriting. All right. The target's mostly obscured here, so it's -1s. Now we're going to start checking for things like mechanical failure, just like as usual, right? We're going to roll that 1d100, mechanical failure. Rolled a 67, so we are good there. No mechanical failure. Make sure we put that there. No mechanical failure. All right, we'll check for the German resistance, which will be, so it'll be some modifiers. So it was, 100% cloud cover. So it's -2. We are in, so it's, hey, so -2. We have good fighter escort, so it's -3. However, we are in the target zone. So does that increase this? No, that increases later. So for right now, let's see, you're double checking here. So just want to double check to make sure we got the right number. So I believe it'll be the -3. So yeah, but it'll just still be the -3 for the actual resistance. Let's go ahead and roll a 1d10 with -3. So 10 -3 is 7. A 7 is moderate. So go ahead and put for zone 4 here. Moderate. All right, and then we will go ahead and roll for number of waves. Now this time, it's a target zone, so it's +1. And we have moderate resistance, another +1, so it's a total of +2. And then those will be the 2 modifiers. So we will total of +2 on the 1d10 roll. All right, 1d10 +2. 5 + 2 is 7. That puts us at 1 wave of fighters. So, number of waves here, we'll go ahead and put 1. So there's going to be one German wave Any waves go to combat, so we're going to go to number of attackers. And so now we're going to go ahead and roll. So we know there's going to be at least one wave, or there is going to be one wave of German fighters coming after us. So under the, and we know it's moderate resistance. There's a separate chart, whether it's light, moderate, or heavy. There's a lot of different variables into the game, right? We're going to roll, this time we're going to roll 2 dice. We're going to roll and what they're going to be is going to be side by side. So a 1 and a 1 is 11. Or, well, a 1 and a 2 is 12, right? 1 and a 4 is 14. A 2 and 4 is 24. You get the idea. Count the green die, the American die first. We'll go and check. So it's a 26. So a 26 is going to be, a random attack, or excuse me, random event, no attacks. And then we're going to have to check the random event chart. All right, to determine a random event, we go ahead and roll a 1d6. On a 1 to 3, there's just no attack, no event. On a 4, 5, 6, there's going to be a random event. Roll a 1, so basically no attack initially here. So we're going to go ahead and get to begin our bombing run. So where were we? So we finished up the combat, didn't happen. So we're going to go back down to in the target zone. No combat. After all combat, determine flak. Yep, so we may have avoided combat from fighters so far, but we're now going to possibly suffer some flak hits. So it is, we had a mostly obscured target, which is -1, and we didn't check for contrails, did we? So we're gonna go ahead. Let's double check for that. So we didn't. I think we skipped rolling on that. I don't think it was on here, which we should have checked. It should be on here somewhere. So looks like a mistake on the chart there. But I'm doing the playthrough, so my fault. So let's go ahead and double check for have any contrails, right? So it's 1d10, and our weather in the zone was 100%. Oh, so it wouldn't have mattered. No contrails anyway. You can't see it in 100%. So -1 for obscured. So we go ahead and roll 1d6. See what level flak. 5 -1 is 4. It is going to be light flak. So our zone here under flak, we can go ahead and write right here. No evasive, and flak will be light.
Daylight gave the Jerry's better targets too. They pumped anti-aircraft shells smack up to our altitude.
All right, let's go ahead and roll for any of the flak. So flak will be, it's light, so we're gonna roll the 2d6 3 times. So this is German attack flak, so I'm gonna roll the German dice. And they hit on a 2 or a 12. So as long as we don't get a 2 or 12, we'll avoid flak. 6, 7. Come on, baby. 5. Beautiful. All right, we avoid all the flak. We are coming in, and we are beginning our actual bomb run here. So rolled flak damage. There was none. Let's go ahead and begin the bomb run itself. All right, so to determine our bomb run here, we're coming in on the target, trying to bomb it. First off, we have to see if we're on target or off target, and then determine the damage that we do. So there are a bunch of modifiers. Fortunately for us, the worst ones are things where there's, we're out of formation or there's damage to our bomber. So none of those apply to us. The only bad one that we really have is the target is either completely or mostly obscured, right? So it's a -1. So it'll be a 2d6 with a -1. We would like to get 3 or higher, so we're on target. So since we have a -1, we want to get 4 or higher. So in a minimum of a 4. Come on, baby. 6, we're good. -1 is 5. That is still on target. So now we check for our bombing accuracy with an on-target die roll. Roll 2d6 again and see what we get for actual accuracy. 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 30. Not as good as I was hoping, but I will take it. So on our mission log sheet, we'll say, yep, we were on target. Bombing percentage, 30%. I believe it was percentage of bombs that land within 1,000 yards of your target. Hey, pretty good for World War II standards. So 30% of our bombs, hey, better than nothing. So that was the bombing accuracy. All right, so you know what we're gonna be doing here? We're gonna be trying to get out of here. So let's go ahead and turn our bomber around, facing back towards zone 1. Don't worry though, we're not done in the primary zone here. There's still more flak and possible more German fighter resistance. So let's go ahead and determine additional flak. So same thing as before. We're going to go ahead and check, starting with the flak, determining what level of flak is over the target. We'll roll a 1d6, and then it is -2. So 1 for the visibility, and then 1 for the fact that this is the post-bomb run. So a total of -2. Well, 4 minus 2, that's 2. That is light flak. So once again,
the first flak, just harmless looking, silent puffs of smoke. Only each puff is a shell exploding, throwing shrapnel around the sky.
We'll consider this the outbound. So that was kind of the inbound. So the outbound will be right here. And by the way, it'll be the same weather. We don't have to worry about the mechanical contrails, anything like that. We're just basically worried about, at least for now, and we'll talk about the fighters in a second. Excuse me. Light flak. Apologies. Okay. Light flak, so just like before. All right, I'm going to roll 2d6. Hits on 2 and 12. Miss. Miss. Oh, that was close. And miss. We made it. Turn around. Well, already did that. Jump the gun. And start heading for home. Let's go ahead and check for German resistance. See if those fighters get after us. All right. German resistance. We're going to go ahead and roll on that same chart. Campaign 3. Remember, -3. Same as before. 100% cloud cover. And then we have good fighter coverage. So total of -3. All right. Where's that 1d10? There we go. 1d10 -3. 7. That's a 4. So 4 is light. So we will have light fighter resistance. All right, now let's see how many waves there are. It is light, so it's a -1. However, we're still over the target zone. We're determining German waves. So that evens it out. So it's a straight die roll to see 1d10 to see what we get. Let's go ahead and see. A 7, that'll be 1 wave. Go ahead and check for number of waves. We'll put 1. All right. Any waves go to combat? Yes, there is. Let's go. See number of attackers. So we'll go ahead and roll on our chart. American die first with light resistance. So that is a 35 with light resistance. Is up to 3 ME-109s. So go ahead and grab these ME-109s. Grab 3 of them. And it was, let's see here, 3 ME-109s. They're going to be at 12 o'clock high, 3 o'clock high.
Fighters made the picture complete. These were no tow targets. These babies throw lead back at you.
And 10:30 high. So they are coming in after us saying, because we're still in the target zone technically, so they're saying, you just bombed, are you kidding me? We're coming after you. So 3 of them. However, though, let's go ahead and see how many fighters are going to be removed thanks to our fighter coverage, right? So we have that many waves, but we have good fighter coverage. So fingers crossed, we're going to drive away some of these German fighters. All right, with good escort, good coverage, we're going to get to roll 2d6 and check the chart here. So we want to roll kind of higher or lower. In the middle, not as good. So let's give it a roll. Not what we wanted. 5 is, well, it's actually not bad. It's 2 and 1 in parentheses. So what that means, very, very simple. I'm going to go ahead and put it on here. 2, and then parentheses put 1. What that means is that we get to remove 2 fighters from the first wave. And then any subsequent waves, we remove 1. However, it's only 1 wave of fighters. So fortunately for us, we get to just remove 2. We don't have to worry about anything else. So we get to pick. So our escorts are removing them. We get to pick, though. Let's go ahead and remove probably, I would say, what do we got here? Let's do the 10:30 high and the 3 o'clock high. Get them out of here. They're driven off by escorts. But we still have an ME-109 coming in at 12 o'clock high, which means, as we determined our escort, we apply the escort. So now we're going to determine our defensive fire, and we're going to have a little combat here, a little aerial combat. So go ahead and assign our guns that can fire it. So the game has, obviously the B-17 Flying Fortress has a bunch of guns all over the place. Some can only target certain areas. Now, there's a chart. There's a chart in my little cheat sheet. There's a chart in the book. It also says right up here, you can kind of look and see which each gun, what their field of fire is. It's going to traditionally make sense, right? You got it coming in from the front. It's probably going to be some of the front guns or maybe some of the turrets, right? So a 12 o'clock high can be targeted by the top turret, by the nose gun. Let's see, 12 o'clock high. Yep, top turret, nose gun, or if we had a nose turret, but we don't, the B-24 has a nose turret. So for us, it's top turret, which is right here, and the, where's that bad boy? Nose gun, right there. So those are the two that we're going to target. Now we determine, is he an average pilot? Is he ace or is he green? Very, very simple. Roll a 1d6. Higher is bad for us. 6, that's an ace, so he's an ace pilot. So it makes sense that he went through the escorts, right? Survived them and is coming right at us. Now we're going to go ahead and conduct our defensive fire. We're also going to determine if we want to do spray fire. So what that would be, or do the spray fire from passing. So what that would be is, hey, do we want to use our tail turret? So he's coming in at 12 o'clock, right? Was going to pass by and go by the rear. Well, that's where the tail turret or tail gun could fire at him from there. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to just focus on the front two guns here because I have a good feeling we can take him out from there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and check our combat tables here. We're going to go ahead and roll. We're going to roll with the top turret and roll with the nose gun. Now, there's a lot of modifiers. I'm not going to run through all of them. Primarily, the negative ones are going to be, hey, is he an ace pilot? Which unfortunately is. That's a -1. And then do we have damage to our aircraft at all? We don't have any damage, fortunately. So -1 so far. Are we firing against a bigger aircraft? No, it's a smaller. It's an ME-109, so no benefit there. I'm going to check for a functioning power turret. That is the top turret, so that's a +1. So he'll roll at a 0. The nose gun will roll at a +1, or at a -1, excuse me. And then if it is the against 12 o'clock level, no. 6 o'clock, no. Vertical climb, no. So basically we have a straight die roll with the top turret and then a -1 with the nose gun. Roll a 2d6. We need an 8 or higher to hit. So even die roll with the top turret, so we want at least an 8. Come on, baby. Get an 8, get an 8, get an 8. Boom, we got a 9. So we got a hit. So I like to go ahead and put the turret, throw it on there, saying top turret got a hit on him. And then nose gun, he has a -1. So we're going to have to roll at least a 9. Come on, baby, at least a 9. Boom, we did it. That's an 11. 6 and 5. Boom. So the nose gun also got a hit on him. All right. That's what it sounds like, too. Sound effects are free, by the way. Okay. So we are 2 hits. Let's see how much damage we actually do to this guy, though, because we may got a hit on him, but that doesn't mean that we shoot him down. You know what I mean? So check our combat tables I got over here. Combat table here. So against German fighters, any modifiers would be, you know, are we an ace? Ace gunner. None of us are. First mission. Is it against an twin gun against an ME-109 or an ME-110? Which it is, right? ME-109. And we are firing the top turret as a twin gun. The nose gun is single. Basically, in this, it's going to be the turrets, top and ball turret are doubles, and then the tail turret here you can see is a double. You can actually see it in the artwork as well. So, or tail gun, again, it's not powered. So that is a -1 for the top turret, and then nose gun is just going to be a straight roll. So, all right, let's go ahead. It's going to be 2d6. Again, +1 from the top turret. Nose gun is a straight roll. Against an ME-109, anything, it's a hit. So anyone's going to cause damage, but a 9 or higher will be instantly destroyed. So let's see what we can do. Come on, baby. Top turret, 9 or higher, 9 or higher. Nailed it. So 6 + 5 + 1, that's 12. Hit and destroyed. He is taken out. Don't even have to roll for the nose gun. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Ace pilot, shot down. Sorry, buddy. All right, so what we do, let's make sure, and we resolve the fire, all that. Let's check off our ammo. So we have, what was it, the top turret and the nose gun. So nose gun here, mark off 1 and the top turret. Now, in this shorter mission with fewer zones, really low chance you're going to run out of ammo. If you have a really long mission, you're going 12 zones, which means you're going 12 zones there and 12 zones back. Ammo can become an important factor. So, bam. So we went ahead, and who was it? So the top turret, right, was the one that had the killing shot. So engineer, top turret, C. Edwards, good job. So what I like to do is I just put kills. Now we'll roll at the end to see if there's a true kill, but we'll put kills and just 1 dash. Basically saying, hey, he may have got to get credit for a kill. Again, you roll on a chart to see if that happens. So, okay. Go ahead and put our top turret and nose gun back in position here. We've shot down the German fighter there. We cleared the Germans out of the area. So now we get to go ahead and move to the sequence of play and move to the move, which we'll go ahead and move our B-17 from Zone 4 to Zone 3, beginning our journey back to base and to landing this aircraft and calling it a mission successful. But we're not there yet. So let's see what happens in Zone 3. All right, Zone 3, just like all the rest of them, we're going to go ahead and check for weather. We are coming out of 100% cloud cover, correct? Yep. So we're going to go ahead and roll a 1d10 with a +2 for the cloud cover. Oh, that's only a 3. So it actually is, it's a haze. Oh, interesting. Haze is, any modifiers for that? Not really. Haze. No modifiers. Okay. Go ahead and write haze on here. Mission recall, nope, that would only be if it was 100%. 100%. Go to mechanical failure, check for that. Hopefully not at this stage, but you never know. Black cat first, very low chance. Remember, 91, nope, no mechanical failure. And we'll check for contrails. Contrails is the 1d10. A 7, no contrails either. So no mechanical failure, no contrails. We are in formation. We're not below 10k feet, and now we'll check for the German fighter resistance. So even though we're on our way back, there can still be German fighters coming after us. So we're going to roll for the resistance. There's no haze, nothing, so there's no modifiers. We do have the fighter escort is good, right? So that's a -1 along with the, let's see, we have a -1 because it's, we have a -1 zone modifier, which I forgot earlier in the beginning of the mission. So -1, so that total becomes -2. So -2 on the 1d10 roll here. 10, so it's 8. So an 8 is heavy. Oh boy. All right, this is the first heavy we face. So apparently there's a bunch of Germans that are real pissed off that we were bombing their occupied territory. So they're going to potentially come after us. So heavy, let's go ahead and see how many waves that means, though. Potentially could still be 0. So heavy is a +2. No other modifiers that I can see. Nope. So it'll just be the +2. So we go ahead and roll. We'll roll a 1d10 with the +2 and see what happens. 5 + 2 is 7. So that is 1. Okay, 1 wave. So it's heavy, but it's only 1 wave, thankfully. Okay. Whew. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and see how many fighters, well, we got to roll, excuse me. Go to waves, go to combat. Now we got to determine the number of attackers first. Heavy resistance. American die first as usual. 42. That's going to be, check out my chart here, dun-dun-dun, only 2 ME-109. So actually not too bad. We lucked out a little bit on that. It could have been up to 4, 5, a lot of 4s and 5s. So 2 ME-109s. At 12 o'clock level and 130 high. 12 o'clock level and 130 high. Where is that at? Boom, there we go. Okay, so we have, now we're going ahead and determine our escort to see how many they're going to drive off. All right, 2d6. All right, 8 with good cover. That is 1 and then 0 in parentheses. So we're going to drive away one of these fighters. So 1 and then 0, which, ooh, that's kind of a rough roll. Fortunately, there's only the 1 wave, so there's only going to be this wave of fighters, and we are able to get rid of one of them. So let's go ahead. What do we got? 130 high, 12 level. I like that 12 level there. Let's get rid of the 130 high. So the escort drives him away before he can come after us. So we will just have to deal with the 12 o'clock level ME-109. Let's go ahead and apply our defensive fire. And I think just like last time, it should basically be, let's see, 12 level. Oh, maybe an extra gun here. Hang on. So we have our top turret, of course, gets to shoot at him. The nose gun Oh, that's right, and that's it. We don't have anything else. So the B-17G, which we have the B-17F, B-17G has a chin turret. We don't have that, and then a nose turret on the B-24. Don't have those, so just those 2 guns. So. That'll work though. Okay, now we determine what kind of pilot he is. Right in the middle of the road, so he's just average pilot, so no markers there. We're going to check for our defensive fire, see what we can do here. So let's start checking. So we're firing our top turret and our nose gun at him. The top turret here, let's see, there's no negatives because he's not an ace and we have no damage, anything like that. However, we're looking at is he is coming in, I believe it's, well, with the top turret, it's a powered turret, so that is +1. And then it is the top turret against a 12 o'clock level fighter. That's another +1. That's a total of +2. So +2 for the top turret, and then just straight die roll for the nose gun. So +2 for the top turret, and that is an 8+ is a hit. Boom, that's a hit. So let's go ahead and move the top turret, and then a straight die roll from the nose gun. 8+ is a hit. 6 missed. They missed. Nose gun misses. Okay. So let's go ahead, before we forget, mark off our ammo. Nose gun and top turret. So nose gun and top turret. Same ones, yep, from last time. All right, let's go ahead and roll to see what damage we cause. So I think we get a modifier for twin guns up against an ME-109. We get a +1 for that. Other than that, it's a 2d12 or 2d6 roll. 9 or higher is destroyed. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. What is 8? Hit. FBOA. Oh, he's not destroyed. But however, fighter damage and breaks off after this attack. So he is hit. And we go ahead and this FBOA marker and see it has a -2. We'll go ahead and place that on there. So the top turret, we'll go ahead and put him back, showing that he's going to continue attack, but he has a -2 on his roll. So resolve our damage. German offensive fire. So he's coming in. ME-109's coming in with a machine gun, shooting at our B-17. Let's see what happens here. So, let's see. We have, making sure we have any special die rolls or anything that he's going to have. So he is FBOA, so it's a -2. No other issues. We're not damaged. We're not taking evasive action, anything like that. And he's attacking from 12 o'clock level, which is, he needs an 8. Oh, he's a 9 or higher to hit. 8 or less misses. So 9 or higher. He does have that -2. So technically, he has to roll, what is that? At least an 11. So on a 2d6, he has to roll an 11. Not good odds for him. It's coming in. Let's see. Nope, 3 -2. Not a chance. Basically, completely misses. He's damaged. So if, just FYI, and this is not going to happen because he is damaged and he's going to leave, but if he wasn't damaged, right, that number 3 means he would come back. He would have 3 total passes. First one counts as 1, right? So he'd come back around a second and a third time. But because we damaged him so heavily, he is out of here and getting away from the fight. Basically, imagine either he's getting away or he just can't keep up. Either way, we survive that assault. Very nice. Yeah, no hits to us. So all that's taken care of. So guess what? Next wave? No wave. We are moving. We are continuing to move. That is it for Zone 3. We survived the fighter attack. Let's continue on to Zone 2. All right, Zone 2, we've already moved into it. Now we'll check the weather for the zone. Weather for the last zone was haze. See if there's any modifiers for that. I don't think there is. Nope, so it's just a straight die roll on a 1d10. See what we get for weather. We got a 2, so the weather is clear. Ooh, beautiful. Let's hope that holds for the landing too. So clear weather. No recall, because that would only be if it was, remember, 100% cloud cover. Mechanical failure and contrails. We will roll for those. Mechanical failure on the old 1d100 here is only a 1, 2, or 3. Black die first. 79, clear. And then check for contrails. 1d10, no other modifiers. A 2, there are contrails. Uh-oh. So mechanical failure, but there are contrails. So the contrails are going to add a +1 to the rolling for German fighters here. So we're in formation. We're not below 10k feet. So now we're going to check for the German fighter resistance levels. All right, so like I said before, so we are in, the weather is clear, so there's no modifiers there. We have good fighter coverage, it's -1. There's contrails, it's +1, so it's an equal die roll. So it's going to be a straight die roll to see. 1d10. Higher is heavier, lower is less. A 9, that is heavy. So again, we rolled heavy just like we did last. So we're getting it. This will be the last zone that we can encounter German fighters. Heavy. Okay, now we'll roll for how many waves there's going to be. Heavy is a +2, and then there's no other modifiers. So we'll roll a 1d10 with a +2 modifier. So let's go ahead. A 1 + 2 is 3. That actually is 0 waves. Wow, we got lucky. We just got lucky. 0 waves, which means no fighters, no evasive action, and of course no flak. Beautiful. We survived the fighters. No German waves. So we go back to the move. So we're going to go ahead and move into zone 1, and we're going to come in for a landing. And we're going to go ahead and move our marker down here to the ending the mission and landing. Let's see what happens. All right, we'll check for the weather over the base. So for the weather over the base for takeoff and landing, we'll roll 1d10. Remember, we're in December, so it's going to be a -2. So we roll 5 - 2 is 3. That is, we lucked out. That is good weather. That is a really, really good sign. Because I believe we can't crash, I believe, with no other damage. And so we're going to do the landing here. We're going to roll a 2d6. And the nice thing is, so we have no damage to our bomber, right? Bomber held up very well. Weather is good, so no modifiers there. There's no straight modifiers, so the worst we can roll, actually, no, yep, we have no chance to crash, thank God. So we'll roll anyway to see what we get. 5, yep, 5 is crew and bomber safe at base. We have landed. No ditching, no landing, no bailing out, none of that. We have landed, safely landed our B-17 at the base. Don't worry, we're not quite done yet, though. Successful bombing mission? Yes. Now let's see, though. Remember, who was it? Good old C. Edwards, our engineer / top turret. He got a kill. He says he got a kill anyway. So we're going to have to check the chart to see if he actually has a kill. Let me pull this one up. I think I may have this one just pop up, or instead of pop up on the screen like the other ones, just show you guys. So table 7-6, awarding aerial victories. Roll 2d6 here. I don't think there's any modifiers either. Nope, it's a 2d6. See what happens. A 5, that is denied. No credit awarded. Are you serious? First mission, C. Edwards, Furious, does not get... I put denied with my excellent handwriting. There we did it. Our B-17, the lucky lady, successfully bombed some industry in Antwerp. 30% bombing. We're on target. Only 30%, but you know what? 30% is better than 0%. We did our part against the Nazi war machine, against occupied territories that they're getting resources from, doing our part to try to bring an end to World War II. So that is target for today. Steve Dixon, Bob Best, Legion Wargames. Hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. And of course, if you made it this far, please, I would appreciate a subscription. Just click the button. Even if you don't have to watch every video, just click, to subscribe. Watch the ones you like, ignore the ones you don't, right? But if you did like it, thumbs up. And as always, comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the game. Let me know what you think of, if you've seen Masters of the Air yet, let me know what you think of the show. I have been watching it, and I love it. And yeah, so until next time, everybody, later.